Steve Jobs was the co-founder of Apple, the CEO of Pixar Animation Studio, Next, a hardware and software enterprise, and a business shark. He is looked up to by young entrepreneurs and businessmen and women all over the world because of his fearlessness and absolute confidence in himself. Steve Jobs and the co-founder of Apple, Steve Wozniak, created a wave of progressional and revolutionary pieces of technology, including the iPhone and iPad. Steve Jobs was born in 1955, and his biological parents were University of Wisconsin graduate students, who put Jobs up for adoption, only to be adopted by Clara and Paul Jobs shortly thereafter. Born and raised in California during his adolescence, Steve Jobs struggled with school, but not in the way most kids do. He became bored with the easy, mindless tasks offered by teachers and resorted to pranks to keep himself occupied. Administrators wanted to move him ahead one grade to see if a more rigid curriculum would keep him occupied, but his adoptive parents declined. Jobs found his love of machinery when he was a boy, and his father and he would deconstruct and reconstruct electronics in their garage. Steve Jobs attended Reed College in Portland, Oregon, but shortly decided after classes started that he wanted to drop out. For the next 18 months, he only sat in on classes that interested or inspired him. Jobs later revealed in an interview that a class in calligraphy that he sat in on inspired the beautiful typography that Apple products possess today. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak created Apple in 1976 in Jobs' family garage. 4 years after the launch of Apple, the company surpassed $139 million in company sales. Apple executives began to phase Jobs out of his position at Apple because they thought he was bad for the company. After leaving Apple in 1985, Jobs created Next, an enterprise that Apple would eventually buy for $429 million in 1996. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple, he revitalized the company and got it back on track with stylish designs and effective marketing. In 1986, Jobs purchased an animation company from George Lucas, now known as Pixar Animation Studios. He had high hopes for the company, so he invested $50 million of his own money in it. In 2011, Forbes estimated Jobs' net worth to be a staggering $7 billion. Steve Jobs was an incredible thinker, a brilliant entrepreneur and businessman, and had the creativity like no other. He is a true inspiration for anyone who wants to defy the odds set against them. In his 2005 commencement speech at Stanford University, he said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." Thank you.